I'm surprised sometimes when I review the code written by even 3-4 years or 5 years experienced developers. They seem to be not understanding this properly. So I've just left a note later on. You can read it. Now coming to data types. So let me just close this. So now using JShell, we were looking at possible ways of forming valid expression. Why? Because such expressions form statements and many such statements form source code. Okay. So we'll come here and we'll take a look at data types. So in any programming language, or at least in most of the programming languages, you have primitive data types and you have non-primitive data types. Okay. Like I said, this is also a very essential part of getting to know the basics of a language, so that you will know what kind of data types you have to play around with. Any idea what is a primitive and not primitive data type? Have you heard these terminologies before?
Yes, sir.
Can you help me understand? Can you help your friends just understand what you heard before? In your own words, you don't have to be textual. You don't have to be actual. Just spill it out. Whatever you know, right or wrong, you just spill it out. Doesn't matter. If you ask me so many definitions, even I'll definitely think, not be very comfortable. But if you ask me to talk about it in my own way that I understand, then I'll be very comfortable.
Sir, primitive are the data types which are already built in, sir, like int, character, float. And non-primitives are like we have created, sir, like variables.
Classes using
class
types. Yes. Anyone would want to add something more to that? So basically, he said primitive are the ones which is built in. Yeah, that's a good word. Some people also use the term baked in. You heard this? It's baked in to the language. And non-primitive are the ones which don't fall into primitive. Or built on top of the baked in ones, like string, or let's say employee. Oh, how did employee come up? We'll see that. Basically, these are all derived types, user-defined types, UDTs. There are several ways of discussing them. So if you see here in Java, these are the primitive types. Quickly go through them. This is just I call this the summary. So you can put a summary using this node here. Basically, when you do control and block some nodes and you put this, it will give you a way to summarize your learning. So I just put some terminologies there, so which will help me, when I'm revising things. So basically, for storing whole numbers, you have byte, short, int, and long. For storing decimal numbers, you have float, double, boolean, and character. And you know the whole story, right? Why do you have so many different data types? Yeah, wouldn't be. And let me just come here down. Boolean is true or false, basically, and character is a single letter. You might want to add those in the summary, or if it is quite implied by it, you can just leave it. But then we'll look into it. But why don't you just have two data types? One for whole number, one for decimal, and probably. Did you need so many types? Do you think it's a good idea to have so many type of data types? They could have given something like int and double, that's all. So it's a question generally for everybody. I'm just waiting for answers on that. Do you think adding so many types was required, or What could be the reason?
It's required, sir.
Why?
We can use in integer. We can use only the integer numbers, but we use a long int. Then we can store others numbers also in there.
No, here it is only whole numbers. Whether you are using byte, short, int or long, I'll show you the table also. I'll show you a table where I have a detailed description of what they can hold and how much they can hold. But before that, I just wanted to know, generally, why do we have so many different types? Why can't just two types? One for storing whole numbers, one for storing decimal.
Sir, because in long, there are many numbers, sir, which cannot be stored in int, sir, and int contains only 2 bytes, sir.
Correct. Yeah, that's a good answer. But then my question again is,
okay,
why don't you just have long and why don't you just have double?
Sir, but it's an unnecessary waste of memory allocation, sir.
Exactly. So basically, depending upon the situation, you will use a specific type. Why would I want to waste long, for example, storing the age of a person? So can you tell me what is used to store the age of a person here? If I have listed it,
int.
Could use short and could use byte also.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I'll show you. Probably you've not taken a look at table. So, but because in the domain, the age of a person will be somewhere between 0 and let's say 110, 20, max 30. But why did we waste time? So waste memory. I mean, we have terabytes and terabytes of memory now. Why are we even talking about wasting it? So no, that's not the answer. We might have terabytes and terabytes of data today at a very affordable price. But when you start writing applications and there are millions of billions of users, you will see how even all your TBs and TBs of space will start crumbling when the scale of the application becomes large. So I will leave it at that. So just make sure you know when to use which type of variable. And as coming back to the types and what are their permissible ranges, they might not be able to link for a specific slide. Okay. Yeah. So their size and their ranges. In fact, int should be sufficient for most of our users because its range is something like 2.1 billion negative to 2.1 billion positive, and long is a very huge number. I don't know how to read it also. So for most of our calculation, then why would someone want to have long? Oh, that's an interesting. Can somebody think of a situation why they would want to have a long data type? You can think and let me know. So we have float. Double is double precision in terms of the decimal digits after the decimal. Like Boolean, yeah, some websites say it is actually 1 byte. Some have an argument and Oracle says it's actually not defined. Maybe you can throw some light on it later, but it's okay. It's not really so important as well. Character is 2 bytes. In fact, in some of the primitive languages, I would not want to call primitive languages. Some of the older languages, I think it's just 1 byte. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, C and C++.
Yes,
Here,
sir.
I think they added support for Unicode characters, wherein it can store a lot. If you've seen French and Chinese and Japanese languages, it needs a lot more space to store them. And Unicode is pretty much the default standard which is used everywhere. So it can pretty much accommodate all languages. So hence it is 2 bytes. Okay. So coming back to our non-primitive, Control Z. So non-primitive, you have a string and an array and user-defined types. Anything can come here. For example, employee can come here. Student can come here, so on and so forth. That's because we are free to define it as per our wish and will. Okay, I know I'm going a little overboard, but today we had a lot of ground to cover, including the installation and other things. Is it okay if I continue for another 15 minutes, or you guys want a break?
No, sir, you can continue.
Continue, sir. Continue.
Yeah. And at any point of time, you guys want a pause or a break, you can let me know. Okay. Yeah. So I'll quickly delete. Now I'm not planning to talk for so much time every day, but yes, like I said, we had a lot of ground to cover today, and I didn't want to rush through them. Like I said, when we really want to take this, take the pace up, we will do that, but not today. Okay. So why are these called non-primitive? Because they are actually built on top of primitive stuff, and that is one way of telling it. Another way of telling it is all these things like string, array, user-defined types are actually objects. Objects stored on heap memory, whereas primitives are stored on which memory? Objects are stored on heap memory. Primitives are stored on which memory?
Stack.
Perfect. So heap is all object. Now, those of you who are not very much aware with these terms, I would suggest you make a note of this and learn about it. Like I said, these are some of the
Stack.
yeah. So these are some of the nitty-gritties of a programming language, which you might not need to develop applications as such, but some people just expect you to know nevertheless. Okay. So primitive is actually stored on stack memory. All right. And I have a few definitions about strings. We will see that in some more detail probably tomorrow. And we also have a small demo on arrays, which I will probably take up in a while. Now coming back to methods. So basically method, function, it's the same thing. Okay. So it's basically a small block of code used either for splitting the functionality into smaller chunks or for reusing it also. Once you have a small block of code in a method, the advantage is that you can call it wherever you want without repeating the code. Never ever repeat code. DRY. Do not repeat yourself. If you find any piece of code, when I say a piece of code, it means like something like 2 or 3 statements at least repeated in your project. First thing you'll have to do is take it off, put it in a method and use the methods. Because if you keep on repeating code in a number of places, you change in one place, you forget in another. Inconsistent code. It's a major, major problem in software industry. Bugs. So do not repeat yourself, use methods.